Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the moment we've been waiting for, the final of the men's 501 gold ranking WDF Las Vegas Open. I'm Sean Green, joined by my partner in comms, Nick Dichiria. Nick, we have United States versus Canada. I'm used to this with the CDC, especially these two gentlemen who have had fantastic years on tour. Jeff Springer taking on David Cameron.
Yeah, and it feels, I don't want to disparage Jeff Springer at all, but it almost feels a little David versus Goliath-esque in general, just with Dave Cameron's
No, it's David versus Jeff.
Oh. Just because of the fact that we've seen David Cameron have so much success on the big stages as of late, and Jeff Springer kind of getting that taste after going over to some of the WDF events. I'm curious to see how that will transpire here.
Well, they have played each other in the CDC one time previous, and that was last season, in event number 7 in the last 32. Jeff Springer averaged 101.5, and he lost 5-3 to David Cameron.
It'll be an intense showing from both these players. You know how much is on the line. They want to get their ticket booked to Lakeside. That's what you're here for. This is what the whole weekend is about. It all accumulates to this very moment here. The man blessed by the Wasp versus the man with the Stinger.
Yeah, Jeff Springer has played in one World Championship, of course, last year. David Cameron, not a stranger to the Lakeside stage, has participated in 8 World Championships for the WDF. He has participated in 2 PDC World Championships the last 2 years. So, in 2023, 2024, did not participate this past year in that. So he's looking to get back at a major championship. 8-time CDC Tour winner.
Springer will get a look at 71 here to get things going. Great standard between these gentlemen so far. And he's going to do it with ease as he does it in 2 darts there. Jeff Springer Jr. getting the first strike on the board in this race to 6 format.
And you can see the level of play that these gentlemen are started off with. 14 darter from Springer. That had to be done in 15 or less, with Cameron playing as well as he was in that opening leg.
Both of them just really on a tear early on here. Not wasting any time about it. Good stuff as Jeff Springer finds a 2-trouble combination of his own. Back and forth early on. The scoring has been phenomenal. It's staying phenomenal, Sean.
Big 140 from Cameron. Exactly what we are hoping to see. Cameron has the second highest 3-dart average in this tournament at an 88.5. Springer at an 86 as the 5th highest average. So nothing much between them. The first 9 is pretty much identical. Their finishing is pretty much identical. Jeff has hit more 180s, but that's about the only difference.
You can see there Springer does find a ton, but not enough to stop Dave Cameron from getting 6 darts here.
73 left. Treble 19 will leave double 8. Does exactly that. So setting himself up for an even better round than Springer had in the previous leg on a 13 darter.
Of course, Jeff just going to do his job to try to get back in range here. That last start going awry, not going to help his cause here as Dave Cameron does take this second leg here.
13 darts.
1-1. Well, Dave Cameron didn't break the throw until the winning round there to get that 5-3 win over James Beaton. We're going to see a chalk affair so far. Right now, yes.
Yep. And look at Cameron's average, 112 after 2 legs. And he's not missing that treble segment with that first dart.
Which is typically the best start to find that segment on.
It definitely relaxes you for the other 2.
You always feel bad to that second dart. That doesn't get enough credit.
How about this? 432 players started, and we're down to 2. 430 are out of this tournament, and it's Jeff Springer and David Cameron.
Yeah, and honestly, out of the field, anybody could have been in this final. These two guys are not undeserving by any means and have fought for the right to be here through and through. I think it's definitely one of the more interesting combinations we could have gotten.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to argue that this was not a potential matchup that people would think about seeing based on the tournament field, no matter how big it is. These two gentlemen more than capable of making this not a fluke scenario. Whoever wins and potentially gets that opportunity at Lakeside.
Well, this would be a big moment here for Dave Cameron.
70 remains. What a tee up.
Yeah, beautiful set there. Jeff Springer pressured on this 116. Cameron trying to attack that first break of throw. Looks like just into the single 7 segment there.
Tops for Cameron and a break of throw in leg number 3. We were almost going to have a fun fact that the first 3 legs were done in 15 darts or less, or 14 darts or less. But no, sirree bub.
Well, not counting these 3 darts, that could still be true. Can't be true now, though. Frustrations there for Jeff Springer. Didn't hit the big number.
Well, especially because big break of throw for David Cameron and a 2-1 lead now for Excalibur. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia native. Currently averaging 105.
And between the 2 semifinals, the stronger performance was in Dave Cameron's hand. But Jeff Springer, just such a fiery player in nature, you just know that he's going to play to the competition regardless. That's something you just can't teach.
And Springer had to qualify for Lakeside last year by running through the qualifying tournament in order to get that spot, which had a ton of competitors playing in that at the Masters. So for him to get that job done and then get to Lakeside, he played Aaron Turner in the first round and did fall short in that. And I know that just the average alone, he wants to get back because he only averaged 74, and that's just not something that he wants to have that taste in his mouth the first time participating in it. And I bet he is chomping at the bit to get back there.
Well, you see these players get these opportunities, and once you get that first real big break, and not that he hasn't had others in the North American circuits, but getting a break like that makes you just really strive to find these opportunities again and again, and that's what makes these players go from great to excellent. You find that these players have the ability, they just need the confidence, and Jeff Springer full of it. In the best possible sense.
And that's a 140 from Springer. Cameron on 104. 84 remains. Is that in?
The clicks high.
And that shadows. Just right there, that little tiny shadow is really frustrating. But outside shot.
Jeff Springer, taking a look here. Again, errant dart where you see him collected at the beginning portion. When it gets to the setup phase and some of these big break shots, he just kind of, I wouldn't say falls apart, but definitely loses focus. Double top it is. Dave Cameron for a 3-1 lead. Doesn't get it, so opportunity to hand it back over, but Jeff did not do himself any favors on that previous visit. He has to recompose here. He does do so. Will he get it? No, he does not. As it goes well outside on that double. Wish he would have slowed down just a little bit on that last dart. Cameron composed as ever.
Hits the double 10 again. And Cameron extends that lead to 3-1 in a 1-6 here in the final. So the format does extend out a little bit further. But Cameron's halfway to the finish line.
What I love about Cameron is when he is in between turns, a lot of the times you'll see him in the background just kind of looking down, again, not paying no mind to anything happening in front of him. He just approaches the board situation state by state, very often times not looking what his opponent's doing.
Never looks at his opponent. He stares straight at his feet. Something I could never do as a dart player. And I know that it's probably the right thing to do as you see the it's funny because from the side profile, it just looks like it's dead textbook for David Cameron. From the front on, it's interesting how he tucks his elbow as part of his motion that you cannot see from the side profile. Which, do you understand how amazing that is that he's tucking his shoulder or his elbow at the same exact height all the way through that tuck?
It's a hard thing to do, but something he's pretty much got down to a science there. It's rotating like a pendulum.
He's like, all right, well, this is an off leg for me. After 9, still back on 3-5-3.
Yeah, giving Springer reprieve here. You don't want him to feel comfortable as he was starting to really feel the heat there. Loosening up just a little bit, but not quite enough. Taking advantage, but not as much as he would like.
Yeah, as they settle in, the average is dropping a little bit for both players. Which Springer's more than capable of averaging high average
The same
whenever
spot.
he wants. But, yeah, this is definitely the type of match he wants, is a more scrappier version.
Well, and this is the same error he's made in a couple of these legs now where he's getting to these crucial setup darts and just not quite dialing them in the way he's been dialing the rest of his darts there. It's frustrating. I would imagine he's absolutely feeling a little bit angry at himself, and it's one of those things where you got to make sure you don't implode because of errors like that.
But unfortunately, Cameron leaves himself a bogey off of a miss. 55, not much to pressure the 80 for Springer. But this is a must-win leg for Springer.
Would have to agree with you there. Very important in multiple aspects. We'll get one dart.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a good marker, if it was a blocker, and it looks like it's a blocker instead.
Yeah, you need to try to play to the right side of the bed there, but it's hard to get that level of control when you're just trying to focus and hyper fixate on the one dart you really need to collect on. No punishment incoming from Cameron. Should be able to collect here. You would have to think.
And he does find the double 5 and throws a little whatever out there at us. But in the day, 3-2.
He's just feeling frustrated because he knows how well he started off this. And one of the most frustrating things you can have as a player is throwing particularly well and then still not being able to collect. I mean, we saw it at the World Championships this year. 9 darters led to losses more than they led to wins. And when you know that you have these big collects, as you see there from Jeff Springer, and then all of a sudden they completely evade you, it's almost like, what happened? What did I do different? Nothing should be changing.
Well, I'm going to just say it. Damon had hit his 9-darter way early in the match and had way too much of an adrenaline dump, I think, by the end of it, because that energy was just gone.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with you there.
That's why you should always just do what the one kid did. Just win the last leg decider on a 9-darter. Guarantees the win with the 9-darter. Willie Borland, that was his name.
Cameron should be pretty good here to set up and hold throw. Of course, commentators curse for a reason. That was a bad one for me.
He got rid of the 3. That was important. Leaves a 160. We've seen that check out earlier today from Asia Jalbert.
Yeah,
our highest checkout on the stream.
Still going to be frustrating, though. Could have closed that down a lot more. Even Jeff only finding to the 120. These darts from 200 to 100 are the ones that have been so strugglesome between these two. But we might see this here for the 160 check.
Just on the top wire. Will he return, or will Jeff Springer really get the namesake of the Shanghai and steal this leg? No.
Yeah, just going to readjust to try to find out on the last. Doesn't do so. Dave Cameron for a 2-leg advantage. All over the wire.
That is so awkward. And he finds it on the bottom wire. I cannot tell you how difficult that was for him to find it. He had no room for error with those first 2 darts laying across the entire double segment of the 20.
Well, it's just intense focus to the highest degree.
It's Excalibur. Nothing.
I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
No, good performance there on finding the double. It's definitely slowed down as they were both in the hundreds in the first leg. We're like, oh, what is happening here? By leg 3, they started to taper, and now heading into leg 7 here. Still anybody's game, favoring the Canadian, of course.
Yeah, Springer only down 1 break, but he's starting to run out of time.
Yeah, but with Cameron right there only finding 1 trouble on the turn, he's not going to be feeling that heat yet. He's going to be feeling it after this leg because he's thinking, I'm already going to win it. And whether that's true or not, he's still going to have that mentality.
You can't overlook the legs with the throw, just to attack the throw. And while Springer's in the driver's seat in this leg, you definitely don't want to look too far ahead, as David Cameron now on 1-8-4. Springer needs to hit a couple trebles here to keep himself in the driver's seat.
There's the first, and that makes a couple.
Yeah, great job. 90 left after 12. Cameron can put a lot of pressure on it. A lot of pressure on it. Just leave double 2.
Do it for the fans.
And he does. That's a 180 from David Cameron.
The timing to put max pressure on. Jeff Springer should get 1 dart, but he went bull first.
He went so aggressive there instead of the 20s.
I would have preferred the 20s. Would have preferred a little bit more of a conservative approach. You need the guaranteed dart.
Yeah, 1,000,000%, and that is going to lead to this opportunity for Cameron. It's only cool if you hit it afterwards, and he does so. 14 dart break in Excalibur. 3 clear, and he's throwing for the title and a return trip to the Lakeside stage.
Quite the carrot on the stick. We've mentioned time and time again. Seems like things are shaping up in his favor here. Still hovering around that 90 average, a place that you see Cameron in very comfortably. Jeff Springer, again, one of those guys that knows he can perform and do the same, if not better. But just some of those darts are starting to evade him a little bit. I wonder if he's thinking about the moment just a little too much, or if it's just plain old fatigue.
Yeah, David Cameron's average in the Championship Darts Corporation total out of every match and every leg played is an 89.05. So hovering right around that number here. Doing his job at this point.
Springer's not going to give up on this. Again, one of those fiery players that has a lot of confidence in themselves. Mm-hmm. He's going to just believe that he has a harder road, not that the road is closed.
No, Jeff Springer does not believe in dead ends.
No. But that's your opening.
Yep.
Dave Cameron with just 40 on the turn. A rare miss from him. What seems like a match that's been, again, going in his favor. And Jeff Springer, quick to pounce on the opportunity, finding a 140.
Yeah, great advantage from Springer. Trying to get the first job done of this daunting task, and that's break the throw right away of Cameron.
And you'll have time to do so here.
If it goes to the last leg decider, treble 20 would have left double 18. It would be Jeff Springer with the throw. But there's a lot of miles to go before we sleep in that one.
Here we go. We'll get 2 darts here, barring something crazy happening.
That's a perfect dart, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that looked good. After the perfect dart setup, it almost is guaranteed to go in. 17 darter, but it's a break a throw from Jeff Springer. You can't kick that gift horse in the mouth. Hold your throw here.
And he thinks he's up for the task, and so far he's showing that he really is up for the task. Jeff Springer Jr., resilient throughout.
Stinger trying to find a new gear. But that is 140 matched by 140 from the calm, cool, and collected David Cameron.
Well, Cameron knows his opportunities will come. He just has to keep playing the board, keep looking at the game state, and attacking whatever that fancy number says, and whatever Russ tells him his score is.
Springer averaging 100 so far in this leg. Keeps that pace.
Likes to make the math easy for the truckers when he can.
I know I appreciate things like that. So now back in the driver's seat here is Springer. 6 starts from 201.
And these are moments where he's had scrappiness, where some darts have gone left and right. He needs to keep them straight. That one, I don't mind it nearly as much as it was an attempt to try to set himself up on a better finish. But 116, not a bad check.
But it's going to be pressurized. Not as much as he could have pressurized it, but this is a must-go. And it's not going to.
Doesn't find the bed, so David Cameron will get an opportunity once again for the match.
Do you do the bullseye route here?
I would think that's fair to go. Yeah, he agrees.
Might save it anyway. Double 16 for the title. And Excalibur is the champion of the Las Vegas Open for 2025. He books his spot at Lakeside.
Yeah, a well-deserving win for David Cameron. In great form, given a little bit of stuff there. But Jeff Springer going on quite the run and starting to ask the question of, hey, wait a second, guys. I'm in the running here. And he absolutely fought well in that final. But David Cameron was just the better man at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I know the WDF is returning to Canada this year. But after a couple years off, it is good to see another Canadian in the field at Lakeside. David Cameron, your champion this year, defeating Jeff Springer 6-3 in that final.